A very good morning to all of you. In today's class, we are going to discuss about electric and these are the outlines of today's discussion, such as what is electric heating, advantage of electric heating, mode of heat transfer, and its classification. So, what is electric heating? Electric heating means a heat is being produced due to the flow of electric current through a conductor whose resistivity is high. So you can say electric heating basically works upon the principle of Joule heating. So now what do you mean by Joule heating? Joule heating means when a current I is flowing in a conductor having resistance R for a time period T, the heat is being produced in that conductor, that is H equals to I square RT. Because of that I square RT losses, heat is being produced in the conductor. So that heat produced in the conductor due to the flow of electric current is known as your electric heating. So here you can see what is electric heating. Now electric heating is a process in which your electrical energy is converted into heat energy, and it works upon the principle of Joule heating, and electric current through resistor which convert electrical to heat energy. Next one is your advantage of electric heating. Number one is your economical. Your electric heating is highly economical in nature because its maintenance cost is low, its initial cost is low, since we use electric furnace which requires a less amount of electrical energy, which is at a some less amount of cost as compared to the other type of furnace. Next is a cleanliness. One of the important advantage of electric heating, because during electric heating no amount of pollution, ash or dust is being produced. Therefore you can say electric heating is your clean type of heating. It is also one of the important advantage. Next one is your easy of temperature control. In case of electrical heating, your temperature can be controlled easily. It can be easily controlled. It can be easily monitored by the help of manual or automatic device. So in case of electrical heating, temperature control can be done easily. So it is also one of the important advantages of electric heating. So next one is a uniform heating. As compared to other type of heating, we can say in case of electric heating, uniform heating can be done in your furnace, so that each charge or each material which is to be heated are kept in a furnace will receive uniform amount of heating. Next one is your higher efficiency. Electrical heating has high efficiency as compared to other type of heating because the heat which is being produced due to electric heating are produced within the furnace. There is no wastage of heat through the chimney. So the heat which is being produced within the furnace is utilized only for heating the material or the charge which is to be heated. In this case, in case of specially electric heating, its efficiency is too high. So next is your modes of heat transfer. So basically we can say there are three modes of heat transfer. Number one is your conduction mode of heat transfer. Number two is your convection mode of heat transfer. And number three is your radiation mode of heat transfer. So now what do you mean by conduction mode of heat transfer? So in case of your conduction mode of heat transfer, we can say the heat is being transferred from one object to another object by direct contact. So in case of conduction, we can say the heat is being transferred from one to another object with the help of direct contact. For example, here I can see a diagram is there which shows, for example, if you want to make a tea, Then what we have to do? We have to place a pan over a gas. So your pan will receive the heat directly from the gas. So there is a direct contact of the pan and the gases. Or you can say, if you want to iron a cloth, your cloth will receive the heat from the iron, because your iron has a direct contact with the cloth. So these are the example of your conduction mode of heat transfer. So what is conduction mode of heat transfer? Where one molecules of the body gets heated up and transfer some of the heat to the adjacent body with the help of direct contact. So in case of conduction mode of heat transfer, there is a medium through which, you can say direct medium, through which your heat is being transferred from one object to another object. So next one is your convection mode of heat transfer. Convection mode of heat transfer can be done due to the flow of hot metal, or you can say the heat is being transferred due to the particles of the liquid or the gases. For example, if you want to make a tea, we have to place a pan over the gas and we have to pour some water within the pan. The water in the pan gets heated up. How it gets heated up? The molecules, the liquid molecules of the water which is placed at the bottom of the pan will get it heated up first. After getting heated up, it will be moved towards upside and the vacant place will be filled with the water pour in the pan gets heated up. So this is a process where you can say the heat is being transferred, and this mode of heat transfer is known as your convection mode of heat transfer. So you can say, in case of conduction and convection mode of heat transfer, there is a medium with the help of which we are transferring the heat. But in case of radiation mode of heat transfer, there is no mode through which, or you can say there is no contact through which your heat can be transferred. So what is radiation mode of heat transfer? Now it is the transfer of heat from hot body to cold body without any contact. For example, your earth is receiving the heat from the sun without any contact. For example, if we place our hand nearby the pan which is placed on the gas, your hand will feel some amount of heat, although your hand is not in direct contact with the pan, but your hand will receive the heat. This is due to the radiation mode of heat transfer. So these are your methods or mode through which your heat is being transferred. Next, classification of electric heating. So electric heating is being classified basically into two types. One is a power frequency method, another one is a high frequency heating method. Power frequency method is being further divided into two types. One is your resistance heating, arc heating. Resistance heating are of two types: direct resistance heating and indirect resistance heating. Similarly, your arc heating is being further divided into two types. One is a direct arc heating, another one is your indirect arc heating. Your high frequency heating is further divided into two types. One is your induction heating, another one is your dielectric heating. So induction heating are of two types: core type induction heating and another one is your coreless induction heating. So here we are going about heating. So resistance heating. What do you mean by resistance heating? Resistance heating means when a current flows through a conductor having very high resistance. Due to that high resistance, I square R losses takes place due to the principle of Joule heating. Because of that I square R losses, heat is being produced. That heat is being used for heating some charged particles or material. So basically you can say resistance heating is based upon I square R effect. It is based upon Joule's heating. So due to with the help of resistance heating, we can get about the temperature 1000 degree centigrade. So when the current is passed through a resistor, element I square R losses take place, which produces heat. So this heat is being further used for welding purpose, for heating any material which is to be melted out. It is being generally used in a furnace for melting of different types of metal. So this resistor heating are further divided into two types. One is your direct resistance heating method. Another one is your indirect resistance heating method. So here you can see direct method of resistance heating. It is a diagram of a direct resistance heating method. You can see it is a furnace. A charge is being placed here at the bottom of the furnace. Now what is charge? Charge is a material which is to be heated. So you can say charge is a material which is to be heated and its resistivity is very much high because we are using resistance method for heating. So the material that is being used have very high amount of resistance and the charge are generally in the form of small pieces. It is in the form of liquid and you can see over the charge you can see high resistance powder is being sprinkled over the charge or a material which is to be heated in order to avoid the short circuit. And you can see here two electrodes are dipped inside the charge and single phase supply is being given to the two electrodes. If three phase supply is being given, then we have to use three electrodes. So here you can see the charge or a material which is to be heated are in direct contact with the electrode. When a single phase supply is been given to the electrode, current will flow from this positive side to the negative side through the body of the charge, and when the current passes through the body of the charge, as we know charge is a material which has a very high amount of resistivity, or it has a very high amount of resistance, it will produce I square R losses according to Joule heating principle. So when the I square R losses will occur, it will be occur in the form of heat. So that heat is being further used for heating the metal or the charge which is being placed at the bottom of the furnace. So in case of resistance heating, direct resistance heating method, we can say that the heat is being directly given to the charge because electrodes are in direct contact with the charge, and here the heat is being transferred by which mode of heat transfer? By the convention mode of heat transfer. So here you can say convention mode of heat transfer is being used to transfer the heat to the charge which is being placed at the bottom of the furnace. These are the theory part of it which has been discussed. Next is your application of direct heating. So direct resistance heating is being generally used in resistance welding, and you know resistance welding is further divided into different types: spot welding, seam welding, projection welding, flash welding, butt welding, and it is also used as electrode boiler for heating. It is also used in a salt bath furnace. Next one is your indirect resistance heating. So in case of your indirect resistance heating, you can see there is a furnace. There is a furnace, and in the center of the furnace you can see heating element is there. Heating elements means here you can use a wire or a filament whose resistivity is too high. So basically what we are using here? Here the heating element may be your silicon carbide, maybe your platinum, maybe your tungsten, whose resistivity is too high. You can see in case of a indirect resistance heating method, the charge or a material which is to be heated have no contact with the heating element. In the previous cases, the charge is in direct contact with the electrode where the current is flowing through the body of the material. Whereas in case of indirect resistance heating, the charge is placed on the either side of the furnace and the charge are in there is no contact of the charge with the heating element. Okay, so when the supply is being given to the heating element, although we know heating element is made up of a two high resistivity material such as your tungsten. So when the current passes through this filament or this heating element, a very high amount of I square R losses will be produced. That I square R losses will be produced in the form of heat. So that heat will be given to the charge which is being placed on the either side of the furnace with the help of radiation mode of heat transfer. As we know, in case of a radiation mode of heat transfer, there is no medium which is being used to transfer the heat from one body to another body. So similarly, you can see the charge is being placed on the either side of the furnace. It has no contact with the heating element. But although the heat is being transferred to the charge placed on either side with the help of radiation mode of heat transfer. So next one is application of indirect resistance heating. Indirect resistance heating can be used in case of your electric iron, electric kettle, geyser and room heater, etc. oven like domestic cooking oven. So these are the list of the application of your indirect resistance heating. Next one is your requirement for heating element. The heating element that we are using in resistance heating, what are its property? What are its property we have to consider for using that conducting material as a heating purpose? Number one, it should have a very high resistance, specific resistance. If its resistivity is very high, it will help us to produce I square R losses according to the principle of Joule heating. So one of the important property is it should have a very high specific resistance. Next one is it should have high melting point. If it will not have a high melting point, there is a chances of getting a melting of the metal. So the material or the filament or the heating element that we are using for resistance welding, it should have a high melting point. Next one is a low temperature coefficient of resistance. So the material or the element that we are using, it should have a low temperature coefficient. Low temperature coefficient means if there is a change in temperature, so there will be a very small amount of change in the value of the resistance. If there is a change in large amount of value of resistance, it will affect the I square R losses. So, though if there is a change in temperature, there will be a very small amount of change in the value of resistance. So, one of the important properties is that it should have a low temperature coefficient of resistance. Next one is it should have a high mechanical strength to withstand the pressure, mechanical stress. So it is one of the important property of heating element that it should have a high mechanical strength. And it should be non-corrosive in nature. So it should be high resistance to corrosion. If there is any material that we are using, it should be high resistance to corrosion. And it should be economical in nature, or it has been discussed in the first slide that it is the one of the important advantage of electrical heating. Thank you.